What's up everyone, it's Gabby Trades and welcome to my very first Coin Bureau Trading live stream. I'll be here with you live every Tuesday and Thursday right around New York Open, and I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions and I can't wait to answer them all. But before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss a breakdown. Now, I am Gabby Trades. I'm a full-time trader and content creator recently with focus on crypto, gold and equities. You might know me from my own channel, Gabby Trades, where I break down the markets live every week and I share insights, around on the markets every week using price action, multiple tools, and custom-built indicators. Now, I'm super excited to be joining the Coin Bureau Trading team, bringing you my insights, live, transparent, and always beginner-friendly for you guys. Now, my goal here is super simple. I want to help you make sense of the market structure, understand how the smart money are moving, and build real confidence in your trading, whether you're just starting or you're just trying to refine your edge. So let's get going. Grab your coffee, get your charts ready, and let's dive into today's price action. And if you got any questions along the way, please drop them in the chat because I'm here to help you guys. Hello everyone. All right, so basically, the plan for the live streams is very simple. We always start with a breakdown of the fundamentals that we need to watch out for, and then we move straight to the charts to try and make sense of everything, okay? So to start with the fundamentals, we had a major escalation in the Iran-Israel conflict. We all are up to date with all that. Now, the interesting bit about all this is the market's reactions to it. Now, we all know one thing for sure, and that when we have an escalation in the Middle East, that equals a big market sell-off. Now, that's a complete no-brainer. And the thing is, what we saw last week was mainly crude oil shooting up between 7 and 14%, hitting over $75 per barrel. We also saw the VIX, which is the market fear gauge, surging over 15%. And that is actually showcasing us that the market is actually fearful of what might happen in that conflict. Now, you might ask, why are oil prices relevant here? Well, oil prices matter because oil ignites inflation, right? Meaning every $10 rise can significantly push the living costs higher. All right. So on top of that, we have analysts that are very well known warning us that if Iran cuts off the Strait of Hormuz, oil could soar to crazy prices like $120 or $150 plus per barrel, which is going to reignite inflation and is going to stall the Feds from cutting rates. Now, to be honest, that's only our first problem, right? That's our first problem, which is Israel and Iran tensions. Now, secondly, we need to watch out for what? July 9th, which is the deadline that ends the current US-China tariff pause. Now, this is important, but what the market is showing us is that it believes that Trump will delay or extend the pause yet again because past moves show reluctance to follow through. Now, in my opinion, this is pretty much the optimism that is keeping the markets elevated for now. Then the third thing that we need to watch out for is the US debt and deficit risk. Now, the bond market is calm just for now, but if the 10-year yield breaks above 5%, we need to expect risk-off behavior across all the assets. So that's for today. Obviously, we have the Fed speaking on Wednesday. Whether we're going to get any change in the rate cuts, I don't think so. But yeah, the market is not pricing in for that. But of course, first, let's say hi to everyone in the chat, see who's here. We have Ayantika. Okay, this is all new names. Usually I know everyone that's live with me. We have Dodgy, of course, I know Dodgy. We have Shane42, Free Speech Matters, Brett Thompson, Larry, Samir JNR, SNR Gaming, and Mr. Popo being very, very funny. And of course, we have Trade Travel Chill supporting here. That makes me feel more comfortable now. I don't know. Usually I'll be like, oh, stressed, but no, that makes me more comfortable. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy that you guys are typing in the chat because honestly, I will remember you all. And if you come to the next live stream, I'll know who I'm talking to. So that's absolute greatness. All right, cool. Can we have our mod just giving us a little bit of information on whether the music is too high or too low? How are we doing on that? Okay. Sugar Cookie, no, I'm sorry, I didn't forget your name. Of course, Sugar Cookie is very important here. All right, actually, there is a slight problem here because I don't really see the comments when you guys are typing, so I'm gonna need to sort of like move you guys a little bit so I can see what you're saying. How are we gonna do that? How are we gonna do that? I guess you guys just need to pop a little bit like that, and then maybe I can increase my screen. Can I do that? Yeah, that's not looking very great. Okay, so anyway, that's the first stream today, you guys, so we're gonna do stuff like that. It's inevitable. But all right, so what do we do usually? We move our screens around so then I can see everyone. Okay, that should be fine. All right, cool. So you guys, obviously you don't know me, so these are all new concepts for you to kind of, you know, understand and to get to know. But don't worry, it's pretty simple what I'm teaching, and very quickly you get to understand what I'm doing every single day. I'm pretty sure the people that know me here already can confirm that. So all right, cool. We start with Bitcoin as usual. That's what I like to do. We're also going to go through the traditional markets because that, in my opinion, is always very important to keep an eye on, because we know how the money are moving, right? This is what we always need to keep an eye on, right? What is the S&P 500 doing? What is the Nasdaq? What are the traditional markets doing in general? What are the commodities doing? Is gold surging up? Right? All these things matter for us. Now, I'm not sure why the comments are disappearing. This is one thing that annoys me. So I might need to check in the settings, you guys, because this is not very cool. High delay, chat delay. What am I supposed to do here? Always show messages? How about that? Can you guys type in the chat a little bit so we can test that, please? Okay, that completely... Okay, Y. Cool, we're seeing Y. We want that Y to stay. And then all the other... Okay, yeah, I think we fixed it. All right, good. We're getting somewhere here. We're getting somewhere. Okay, good. All right, so like I said, first thing we do is we look at Bitcoin. Over here, you're going to see a big vertical line in blue. So that big vertical line is where we are potentially expecting to see any rate change cuts. Like, I don't think there's going to be any, but hi, Mark Bass. So, but I just have it highlighted here because I like to see everything visual. Okay, so I understand that there is a lot of things on the chart right now, and in fact, I've deleted all the indicators for you guys so you can understand a little bit. But the first and most fundamental thing in my trading is actually something very, very simple, right? The first thing I try to teach everyone is to understand what is the current price range that we're trading. Now, and what I mean by price range, I don't necessarily mean that it's going to be either, you know, a leg up or a leg down. It could be also, what I mean is that it's not always, you know, a range that's going sideways, right? A price range could also be this, right? This could be a price range. This could be, you know, a leg up, right? And then you can also consider a price range a leg down, for example. So that's the first thing. We're gonna learn all these things. Headlines are lagging indicator. When headlines are released, the price is already updated. Yes, that's also very true. A lot of the stuff are already priced in the markets, but there is always, you know, manipulation in the markets due to events. So we need to understand that, you know, this is the other thing that I want to teach you guys as we go along, is that the market tends to manipulate a lot. So that's what we're here for. We need to identify these manipulation moves and to know how to capitalize on them. All right, so first of all, this is the current price range that we're dealing. with. Yeah, this is the current price range. So usually what I use for that is my Fib tool. So you're gonna see these are the inputs over here. Now, the most important bits in all this is for you guys to understand the 0.5, the 0, right, and the 1. So 0.5 obviously will be the price equilibrium. Some people could call it point of control, whatever, but it is the equilibrium of this price range. All right, so we pretty much could identify this price range once we had a clear structure break of this bearish leg over here. And that structure started breaking, you know, quite early on, even here. So we could identify our range. What usually we do, you know, with my community and everyone, is when we identify our range, we have zones that are very important for us. And the first zones that we look out for are the 0.786 and the 0.236. In the case of that sort of range, what you'll find out is that the price above 0.786 and 1 is actually cheap, right? So this is, this is expensive. You know, I used to stutter a lot and I'm like, you know, sometimes I say cheap when it's expensive. I don't know. Is that dyslexic? Like, I have no idea. Anyway, moving on. So this is very expensive over here between 0.786 and 1. So price usually tends to reject from that area. Now, what we usually look out for is what price does around the 0.5. Now, if it comes down from the 0.786, does it reject the 0.5? Because if it rejects the 0.5, that means that we get continuation higher. So this is just like a quick lesson on the ranges for you guys, whatever. But generally, when we have price coming from the 0.786 on any asset, it doesn't matter. We are expecting for price to drop down to the cheapest area possible, and that's 0.236 level. Now, anywhere between 0.236 and 1. So this is usually, you know, the buy sell zones that I operate with. So obviously sold from here, obviously bought from here. And now the idea on how I work these ranges are to be secure. I always take profits at around the 0.5 area as a TP1. All right. So the thing about these ranges is eventually the range is going to, you know, exit either up or down. So eventually you're going to hit a stop loss regardless of what you're doing. But this is just how the plan is. You're doing good. It's just nervousness. Oh yeah, probably. I don't know. It could be that. It could be that. It tends to happen to me. Even, you know, I've been streaming for so long now. It just keeps happening. Calls, like, it's just, anyway, so, you know, if that's not enough for you guys, and obviously for any trader that's new, you're gonna need more confluences on top of each other, right? So for that reason, I use the good old order blocks and breaker blocks to find out zones that are, you know, good for me to sell from. Now, for this kind of stuff, I use my custom-made indicators, right? So with these indicators, I can simply find out where the sell zones on whatever time frame I like to trade on, right? So this was a clear sell zone for me, together combined with a very strong daily resistance or support, SR flip, call it whatever you want. It's mostly important. Yes, guys, hit the like button. And thank you so much for being super supportive in my first live stream. That means the world. So, you know, it's really important when you're trading to stack confluences on top of each other, right? So this is what I'm doing with my indicators. Basically, we have the sell zone over here and a massive daily SR flip, resistance, support. Once upon a time used to be support, turned into resistance, whatever. I just mark it like this on the chart, and I think everyone should do the same thing. So basically, you know, a lot of people are saying that these zones around here, around $110,000, are extremely important zones. But you can say that, right? But it's another thing to see it on the chart itself, right, as a massive resistance zone, and it's going to show you from where it's coming. So this is how my indicators are helping me, you guys. So basically, right? This is the previous high over here that used to be liquidity for so long. So we knew that whatever the hell the market was doing, we knew for months in advance that we need to target this high, and it's a major liquidity. So what happens when, you know, you'll see the liquidity with the dollar signs, by the way. So what tends to happen is that soon as a major liquidity is taken, the market has, you know, has taken enough money to kind of move and take some opposite liquidity. So this is what we're pretty much seeing right now. What else are we seeing? Because we're new here, right? Because we're new here all together. Monetary policy data of Japan. The monetary policy of data of Japan, I think, is they didn't change the rate cuts, is what happened. So basically, moving on, continuing with the price action. The thing is, right, once you take liquidity, this is literally the first time we took that liquidity, right, which is major. This is the first time that we sort of created the first swing low. This is literally the first swing low, you guys. Since what? Since we reached 70, 74, we made the bottom at that time, which Trade Travel Chill called very, very correctly. And she was like, we are entering here into the last phase of the bull run. So this is important stuff for you to see, so you kind of like get orientated on the stuff that I'm trading, right? We take major liquidity, of course we pull back and we make the first you know, swing low, because so far we just had market structure that I tend to call very, very strong. And when you see that kind of market structure, it's like that, right? You have a move up, sideways move, move up, sideways move, move up, sideways move, and then move up. Now, obviously, we've taken the major liquidity, so we're going to pull back. We pulled back to a substantial level, right? We pulled back into a substantial level. Let's see what we did. We did 100K. And I was saying to all my followers at the time that for me, it's extremely important to see Bitcoin holding the 100K zone. And this is what happened, right? And even though our 12-hour resistance / support was at 99,500 and 98,800, I didn't want to see price drop to those levels. I know the difference is not substantial. We're talking, you know, 1% difference barely, but still it's just important because it's a psychological level that we needed to hold. So very bullish overall that we held the 100K, right? And we had that push up, and now we found ourselves in the range, which was perfect ideal case scenario for me because I know what to do right now. And moreover to that, we're gonna go to like the more macro sort of you know, picture on it. Let me just make that small again, you guys. It has to be small. It just has to be small. I'm just gonna look at the bigger whatever. I can still read everything. I don't know why I focused on that. Go Bulls. Yes. So basically, Larry, basically, right? So this is how I knew, okay, this is the range. So once we pulled back to the 0.7786, I know what's going on. Also, we're rejecting from the sell zone together with a daily resistance. I believe there was a fair value gap also in that area on a lower time frame. So for me, it was an absolute no-brainer that price is dropping from here. Now, obviously, ideally, you wanted to see price bounce back from the 0.5 to search for new highs or come into what's called price discovery. Now, that didn't happen. And it didn't happen because that was exactly when we started escalating with Iran and Israel, which is very unfortunate, you guys. Like, I'm no one to discuss these things. It's an absolute disaster. And, you know, I feel very sad and I get very emotional about these things. I do not want to talk about them, but it is what it is. So anyway, if we go on a lower time frame, so first thing that I need you to draw your attention to, now that you've understood a little bit about the indicators, now we can get rid of that line here because we know that this is the FOMC statement that's coming. It needs some more hours. few more 4-hour candles to close before we get to that zone. But anyway, on a 4-hour time frame, again, using, no, it's not today, Larry, using our, my trading indicators, I know that not only we need to come above the daily resistance, which is at 110,000, but we actually have to take the high over here because it's a liquidity at what? 110,619. Now, because this is the situation that we're finding ourselves in, I'm going to consider very, very carefully what I'm going to do from here on, because this is still a big liquidity in my opinion. On the 4-hour, it counts a lot for me. As you still participate in the live streams, you'll get to understand a little bit more of what I'm doing. But we also have this formation down here, if you can see that, and if you couldn't now, you can. So basically, yeah, just in all seriousness, I tend to usually also use this as a sell zone, which is in that case the double top of this triangular structure. Now, so having in mind that we have this over here, which I consider as a sell zone in a way, not very strong, but I still consider it. We still have this sell zone over here that we haven't really traded above with a body close. I am going to be very, very careful watching price travel all the way up here to take that liquidity, and whether it's just going to be a wick and then price quickly comes back down below the sell zone, right? And below the liquidity over here. Because if that's the case, that would mean to me that the market would want to retrace one more time. Now, whether that's going to be until the 106, whether that's going to be until the 103, it's only time can show, but I know what my actions are going to be over here. Now, good morning. So, hi Playstream. So, the current situation right now is that we opened New York, and we had this continuation to the downside. Now for me, Monday, the week doesn't open just like it opens for everyone else, right? I have different timings that I'm watching out specifically for the open of the week, right? For the open of the year as well. So in this case, I've marked it over here. This is the opening for me, for my trading strategy. For Monday. Now, why is this important to me? Because I want to relate this price action once we've opened the true week. What has happened before that, right? What has happened before that, and what is happening as we truly open the week. Now, there is obviously a few case scenarios. Actually, there is only two that this could go, or three maybe. But what I'm seeing right now is pretty clear to me, right? We have a clear move up, and then we have what's that? That's a reversal. That's a clear reversal. Now, as per my rules, when I see a clear reversal over here, this is going to be my stage one of this week. All right, we're seeing a reversal stage one. Some people can call that false move, right? Or whatever you guys call it. Yeah. Anyway, so for me, that's a clear reversal of the current market structure. Righty. So now that we know that, my second expectations would be that I need to see some sort of range formulating, right? I want to see whatever range formulating right now. Ideally, for me, that range, I was hoping for the range to happen around the 0.5 and just stay around there. So that's 106K Bitcoin, I think. So I was hoping for that. And then I wanted to see, then the following move after the range would be our manipulation, essentially, according to my strategy. So basically, whatever price does over here, I don't really care. I want to see the range formulating. And once that range formulates, I want to see where price exits from. So whether that's going to be to the upside or to the downside, this is what I'm going to consider my manipulation move. And from that, I'm going to consider time. I'm going to consider any other confluences, and then I will realize whether I'm going to be positioning myself in the right direction, which is going to be expansion, right? Whether to the upside or to the downside. In my opinion, honestly, you guys, I couldn't care less. I'm telling you. And I even spoke to Trade Travel Chill the other day, and I said to her, in my opinion, only day trading is going to save me from this current market conditions, because it's not the same, right? We're not talking 2022 anymore. Like, you guys, we just need to be we need to be clear about that. So this is a new market. We have the institutions. It's all about the money. Where are the money coming from, right? The money are coming from the institutions. There's no retail. Where is the retail? I don't see anyone. And I don't know if anyone is going to come. Now, probably we should keep this for another stream, but I'm going to tell you my overall sort of like expectations of what I want to see. So the same way, I had marked the true week open for me here. There is a true year open here, okay? The true year open, and that happens on a specific Monday in April, all right? So to me, it's pretty clear what happened here. Pretty much similar situation, right? You had a reversal, complete reversal. Okay, this is on a macro scale. So on a macro scale, the reversals are going to look very, very big. On a macro scale, we have this big reversal over here. As soon as we had the Monday true open of the year. Now, is that a coincidence? I don't think so. Now, my expectations from here on now for the following quarter of this year are that we're going to enter into a massive range for Bitcoin. Now, how big that range is going to be, I cannot tell you, but what I can do is I can always compare the previous ranges that we used to find ourselves with, right? The previous ranges, and see how big of a structure these ranges were, right? So we can see over here, the last one, we're talking almost 20%. And of course, the really terrible range that we were facing ourselves with last year, that was around 30%, right? So I'm bracing myself for, hello, Chris. I'm bracing myself for those moments to come very, very soon. In fact, starting July. Now, for the rest of the year, if I'm correct, and if obviously I've been doing that for so many years, so I should be, expecting that as per, the rules. So yeah, basically, if we had the reversal, right, same as what we're trading today, right, we have to have the range, and then we have to have sort of a manipulation, right? Whether that manipulation is going to be high and then we're going to drop down, well, this is pretty much what I'm expecting. Yeah, maybe it could be a little bit higher. So that would mean, you guys, the following thing, all right? So here we had the massive bull run, right? Or whatever, right? It wasn't massive, doesn't matter. 74K, we had a top, okay? We made all-time highs, and then we started ranging in July. What is it? August, September. So once we reach in October, all up until, so that's going to be the third quarter, right? October, all up until the end of the year. What I'm expecting is that then we're going to get a manipulation move, and in my opinion, it's going to be to the upside, right? It's going to be to the upside. Why? Because it only makes sense, right? I'm not expecting that the bull run is going to continue into next year. So I'm going to assume that this is what's going to happen, right? We're going to range probably, whether this is going to be 20% or whether it's going to be 30% range. This is yet to be discovered. But then what's going to be interesting is from the bottom of that range to the high, are we going to make another 50%? Because that is what we usually do, right? We make another 50% to the high. Now, this is not first grade. I'm sorry for the paintings and everything, but I think it's like easy to visualize, right? So if we're being like very, very positive, and we say, okay, we're going to, I don't know, let's say we finish at around 115. If we respect the, you know, the shark bearish, you know, pattern over here, so that's harmonics. Let's say we run it up till 115, and then we start dropping, and we get a drop to like what, 30%, which is going to bring us, by the way, exactly to the true year open. So are we going to retest the true year open in like a massive range that goes for months? And then from here, are we going to expand, right, another 50%, which is going to be insane? Well, that could, right, that could bring us to, I don't know, 125 if we're counting from the low, or if we're counting from the high, such as previous ranges. Let's say we do 115, right? Are we going to get 30%? Are we going to get 50%? That is yet to see, as the manipulation move that I'm expecting for October. Do you guys have any questions so far? And say hello in the chat, because I cannot understand. We have 200 people here. You guys like the video. This is my first stream. If you're going to support me and watch me and learn from me, I'm going to teach you the simplest things that are going to help you with your own trading. Even if you're super experienced, you can still use my tools and honestly make a lot out of it. Yeah, I want to see everyone in the chat. So far, Arman, Saturn Stacker, Larry, you know, have been very active. I want to see Muhammad as well. Sugar Cookie, AV Creations is happy with the content. Yeah, I'm happy you guys are finding it useful. Yes, from the Philippines. Hi, Joven. Oh, I've always wanted to visit the Philippines. Jeez. When am I gonna go on holiday? When is this bull market gonna finish so I can just like go on a holiday? Is that gonna happen? But anyway, yeah, we were pricing in for that, right? All we were expecting was a very, very prolonged bull run. Yes, we have the war right now, but see what's happening. The market is exploding. All right, let's go see the traditional markets real quick. So this is crude oil for you guys that we were looking at earlier. Now crude oil, again, using the same methods on a weekly time frame, is not looking good, you guys. I'm gonna be honest with you, right? So this is the range that we're trading on crude oil on a very, very high time frame. Again, you have here 0, 0.236, 0.5, 0.786, and 1. Yeah. So this is a bullish leg, right? So the good news is that we dropped to the 0.786. Do you guys see how these stuff work? Like, I'm not here to sell you anything, all right? I just want you to see how it works, right? Right? Magically, we have rejections from the 0.236. Now, these are stuff that I've been watching for years, so it's not something I'm just coming up with right now. Again, using my indicators, here we go. We have double liquidity formation. We had the same situation with Bitcoin at the 74K. This is, imagine this is 74K Bitcoin down here. It was literally the same pattern. We took liquidity once on Bitcoin, we tried, and then we failed, and we made a bottom over here. And then what happened? Well, we started doing exactly the same, extending, raging, extending, raging, extending, and then we took the double liquidity. It was literally the same pattern, you guys. Now, this is really scary for me. I'm not gonna lie, okay? Because if we see oil above $90, this is going to be very, very scary. And so far, it looks like it's gonna be like that. So yeah, it is what it is. Gold. Sorry, I have some positions on gold here from today. This is my second position today on gold. But anyway, yeah, gold has been really good for me recently. Trading like this morning, I made like $200 with this move up. So I'm expecting a bigger move. So that's what I'm hoping for to catch over here. Let's see if that's gonna work out. But anyway, gold has been extremely easy to trade. And again, let me just show you real quick here how the methods are working. So again, we have on a daily time frame the support right at 3,209. We have a buy breaker block formation over here. This was the cleanest buy I've seen on a higher time frame in a long time, to be honest, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, so here it is. Again, you have the formation here that we spoke about a little bit earlier. We know that this whole area here is sort of a sell zone, so it's kind of like, it only makes sense that gold is rejecting from here, but I still wanted to keep its strength. So I'm betting on this right now, but I'm also fully aware that gold needs to fulfill this imbalance down here, or sort of a gap, because when you see like wicks overlapping in trading, this is generally a gap, right? So even with this price action right now, we're sort of forming a gap. But I want to see this daily candle rejecting from down here, tagging me in my position and going up, which is obviously not going to be very nice for Nasdaq, but I don't really mind. Nasdaq, let's have a look real quick at Nasdaq. Again, double liquidity formation. This is at I only buy spot and hold. I'd like to learn to trade though. Yeah, EJ Cup, you're more than welcome to learn. And by the way, you guys, since I'm new here, Bybit, CoinCatch, and 2bit were really nice to hook me up with like really good offers. So over here, if it loads, we have Bybit. So if you register under Bybit, by the way, you can make use of that, and I'll tell you why. Because if you register with my link under Bybit, you will be able to get into Telegram group that I'm trying to sort out for you guys, and I'm gonna do my best to do this week, although I'm not really techie, but whatever, the team is very helpful, so I think we'll manage it together. And yeah, if you are registered under this link on Bybit, you'll be able to get in the Telegram group, and you will make use of my daily updates over there, which I do for my own personal community, and people find super duper helpful. So yeah, that's Bybit, and you know, they're giving a lot of bonuses. Like if you deposit a certain amount, like for example here, deposit 3K, trade 10K, and you'll get $100, and then the rewards are going up to $30,000. So that's obviously, you're gonna get also VIP structure here, which means for you'll get lower fees. So it's a pretty cool structure. And also on Bybit you can trade like equities as well, so they're, you know, they've done good so far. So yeah, and that's it. Same thing with CoinCatch. We have a lot of sign up bonuses here. Trade to earn $4,000, so this is active now for quite a bit. So that's pretty cool. And then 2bit as well. All of the links, you guys, you can have, but all I can tell you is that I'm working on getting you the best deals. Okay, cool. So that's Nasdaq. So for Nasdaq, we have the double liquidity, right? And we know that we have the all-time high liquidity. So it's pretty much no-brainer to me that Nasdaq wants to come up and take that liquidity. Now, what's going to happen once we do that, then it's all, honestly, it's like out of my imagination, because to be fair with you guys, we are so much due a pullback, like it's unbelievable. Like we have so many unfilled gaps on Nasdaq that need filling. So I think this is going to come soon with the summer price action. So yeah, I think this is enough for a first stream. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? We did like up to, I don't know, 40 minutes. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, all of you. And I will see you in the next one.